it's me again with another video. So, in today's video, this is pretty much this is first of all my recovery week. So, I am catching up on all the videos that I got behind on so we can get back in line. There's this video that I'm doing right now, and then there's the other one after it. The video after it is this week's video, but it was due on Tuesday, so I'm going to get to that one. I'm praying get to it good tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, if not Sunday. It's gonna be easier topic, you know. Y'all, I said it towards the end, but I'm not gonna say it again, just in case for anybody who didn't watch it. Give it a little, give yourself a little bit of time. So, okay, so that's my last basically after this we're catching back up, we're starting over again, we're starting fresh, not over again, but with getting back on track and posting every week. Okay, so I have to, so I apologize to everybody again about all that craziness and hoopla. I really do like doing YouTube. I enjoy it. It's fun. It's a good pastime. I watch YouTube videos a lot. Like, this is what I want to do. One of the things I want to do. Another couple of things I want to show you is what I won at a Dave and Buster, and also to what my best friend had got me. His name is Carter. I name him Carter. My best friend got me this when I turned 21, and this is what I won, but I named her Jarissa. So yeah, here's Jarissa, just in case y'all see her in the background, especially Jarissa. Look at how big her head is. I thought I had a big head. Look at this. Sorry. Okay, so if y'all would like to know what today's video topic is, guess what it is gonna be about. It's just a little mini review over a short series that supposedly is gonna have a reboot. When I just looked it up, they've been talking about it. They posted it about mid-2020. I'm excited for it. MTV, they're gonna do it, but it's gonna be an eventually thing. It'll come up. Guess what series I'm doing? It's 13 episodes. It was on MTV in the early 2000s. It only lasted for about a year, but it has a cult following. Clone High. Okay, Clone High. Basically, it give you a really short, like under maybe 30-second description, because first, I'm not a professional. Second of all, it's a television show. And third of all, just have fun, So basically, it is a show that is based off of high schoolers going through their normal angsty teen things with, of course, the extreme moments that they'll have randomly, where there's slapstick humor and all that stuff. Now, these characters are a little bit different than the regular teen animated shows that I'll probably talk about. At least, everyone's different. The main 5 characters are based off of real historic people. Now, the things that they are doing, they did not do in real life. First of all, it's a cartoon, so in general, they probably are. If they did anything, it would be very loosely based off of. They didn't do any of this stuff. Their personalities are different. Their home backstories are different. It is a cartoon. Literally, the most authentic thing that they have is that they have the real names to these characters. And they do kind of draw them kind of similar to the look. It's, you're going to see, for example, let me tell you. There is JFK. There is Cleopatra. There is Joan of Arc. There is Gandhi, and there's Abraham Lincoln. And then there's other characters through and through. They're on high school. They're like cloned characters, basically. They have a principal who is like a overseer of them. He is kind of active with the kids, not really as direct. He'll be in the crowd every once in a while, but he has his own little line. He's basically, I would say, a secondary character, but the 5 are in the main crew. So, I guess let me tell you a little bit about their personality. Let's start off with Abraham Lincoln, because he's pretty much the main, but the 5 is the 5. Abraham Lincoln, you would describe him as not mean, or anything like that, but kind of like not priority oriented. He has a huge obsession, basically a crush with Cleopatra, which they end up being together basically from I think about episode 2 or 3 on. Um, he is kind of like, not the smartest, but he's not like overtly like, unwise. He is just like kind of like that stereotypical teenager boy, just obsessed with the girl, obsessed with being like known to be, you want to be known in the books, just a teen guy. Okay, so that's Abe Lincoln. Then we have Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc's character, she is kind of like that stereotypical like angsty teen, kind of just like goes with the flow, is not afraid to hang out with anybody, still kind of an outsider, but she is still like tough, you know what I mean? Like she's tough, she's like a little outsider doing her little thing. She's like has that stereotypical hard shell alternative ways, with the exception of like doing the things that are right. And I guess another big exception is she has a huge crush on Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln basically likes Cleopatra throughout the series, and at most you ever get with is a connection is probably the last episode, well, the 2-part finale, but I really say the last episode, like within the last 10 minutes probably. That's the closest you're ever gonna get to see them really actually be doing anything. So that's how that goes. She's pretty cool. She's kind of like down to earth with the whole entire, you gotta, the whole leveling, like, gotta level out the group. Usually, I personally don't like that character. I really don't like the stereotypical female character that always has to bring everybody together and save the day, because come on now, not every woman's like that, let's be real. And I just don't, it's too stereotypical of its time, but she's not over the top like that. She still gets down, she's still being silly, she's still making mistakes, she's awkward, she's real, she's a teenager to me. So I liked her a lot. Then there's Gandhi. Gandhi is like basically a outsider, friendly, nerdy. He has a little bit of talent, a little bit of dance talent. He's actually sweet, but another one of those wants to get written down in the books. He's like the sidekick to Abraham Lincoln. They're best friends. All of them are like foster kids. To get the whole clone thing, that's how it goes. He's the sidekick. It's almost like the Scooby and Shaggy, SpongeBob and Patrick. Them two are like the boys. They're like, Then you have Cleopatra. I'm trying to see if I did. Yeah. Cleopatra. Cleopatra is the beautiful, quote unquote. Everyone's obsessed with the love interest. She's like in the crowd, popular. People just want to they want to just be able to breathe in her presence. She's just there, she is self-centered. She is kind of rude. She's not like overtly evil. She's just like, in that personality is like, I'm above bougie. She's bougie. That's what I'd say. Her character's alright. I think they're all at least passing, but it's another one of those types of personality traits I'm not absolutely crazy for. But I like how she counteracts with Abe though, because that's the thing. Abe is not even the stereotypical most attractive in any way, shape, or form. Honestly, he's so awkward. You wouldn't think Cleopatra would even give him the time of day unless he flat out has something great. And Abe does not have a bunch of money. Abe does not have the fanciest whip. Abe does not have like the world's best grades. He's not any of these things, but she actually likes him, and shows it. She's just like ignorant with how to actually be a proper relationship, but he is too. So I like that about her. She's not just flat out overtly like this, like, and this, that, and the other. She starts to show a little personality in here, especially liking Abe, but even being a little bit kinder. I like that. So then, now there's JFK. JFK is the jock, the hot guy, is the actual popular, made it. He's like, JFK's just, they even try to do his little voice. They actually really did, like, throughout the series, kept that little, what people thought was JFK's kind of like signature voice, and shape, this, that, and the other. That's how they are. That's basically what they do. So they have some scenarios. You know, they have high school things like the high school party, they have the prom, they have the volunteering events, they have the, you know, they have the come together, they have the holiday, they talk about death, they talk about, which actually surprisingly was one of my favorite episodes, was when JFK's best friend passed away. Like how JFK, this actually what really made me actually kind of really like it. It sounds surprising, but when JFK's best friend died, I forgot to do his name, it sounds messed up. He was crying and crying and crying, and I actually felt that because my best friend died in 2018. I have two best friends, Cheyenne, that, you know, not biological, that I count outside of course God and my brother, but I have two best friends, Cheyenne and Brianna. My best friend Brianna passed away in 2018 at 19 years old. When I watched JFK, and of all things, that's one of the reasons I'm big about cartoons. That you learn lessons, and it's entertaining. When JFK's best friend died, he nothing could pull him out of it, and for a little while, and it didn't matter if they were doing exactly what he wanted. He could still just revert back and flip and be sad, and he went into like denial, you know, to the point of almost like hallucinations in a sense, and the consciousness. And when he finally starts to kind of crack open, he like makes this particular line. He's like, "Oh, are you a genie? Okay, you're a genie." He convinces himself that he's a genie. He said, "Okay, my first wish is that I can have my best friend back." I literally have been there before. I've literally felt that feeling before. Not exact, of course, but like, yes, like I've literally just been flat out just in denial of the situation. I've had dreams of my best friend that she's alive. I had seen women that look similar to my best friend, and I feel it. I've literally felt that, and it kind of brought me back to reality. I like that. And then the last episode, you know, the prom one, I'm not going to get too deep into every single detail, but, you know, the prom one came by, and then, like, you know, it sometimes I like that it was kind of realistic too, because sometimes you'll like someone and someone will finally start to realize it. And then when they finally start to realize it, low key, you start to move on, you know, whether it was kind of the event started to feel forced and you move on, or you move on gradually, you know, you do start to over time, hey, it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And sometimes people don't find out until the other side. So I do really like that. I did like they tried to do like this drugs like episode, and then like the parents started doing the drugs quote unquote at the end. Then it wasn't fun anymore, you know. I like the whole kind of like long distance thing that they try to do. And stuff like that. I would say from my favorite characters out of the five, I would say my favorite, surprisingly, I like Joan of Arc, and I like Gandhi. Um, I like Gandhi. I definitely like Cleopatra too, because she kind of reminds me of one of my favorite shows. This is the top five. Within my top five is Soldier on Island. She gives me like that Heather feel, so I do really like her in that sense. But I will say, Gandhi, for him being like a side character, that stereotypical kind of like, you know, comedic side character, I did kind of like his funniness, you know, with it was like, okay, he's funny, but he's not like trying hard. He's awkward, and he's like just awkward. I like that. And I like Joan of Arc because she wasn't the stereotypical like, oh, female character who has to do everything, bring the whole group together, can't ever have fun, can't ever relax, stickler. She was still like real awkward, still actually feeling the crush, still actually, you know, getting embarrassed, still doing stuff like that, still willing to embarrass herself. Like, I like those two characters a lot. Abe's character was pretty decent. I think Abe's character around somebody was pretty decent. Once you gave him a little bit of personality, he was pretty decent. I really like JFK in that episode I was telling you about when his best friend passed away. And honestly, it was pretty decent. The only thing is, what I will say is about the series, what I kind of didn't really care for was the first few episodes were like really slow, really to the point, really simple message. Okay, they're gonna like go to a store in this episode, or they're gonna have a simple party in this episode. And then towards the last few episodes, they kind of like wanted to push bigger topics, and I felt like they didn't quite have all the way amount of time. You know what I mean? Like some of them, like I guess some people would debate maybe the one where JFK's best friend passed away, but I was thinking more towards like the anti-drug episode. I feel like the music skits or the drugs episode was the music skits were a little long. I feel like they could have had a little bit more dialogue than anything. I feel like they try to give Gandhi a little bit of more of a character besides being the side character, and they didn't really give him, he really didn't have quite enough time for me. Especially since Gandhi was having that one girl who was supposedly gonna be his love interest. Forgot that girl's name. I feel like she kind of wasn't like, I feel like I liked her. I liked her voice. Her voice was very sweet. I like the voice actor. But I feel like he didn't have enough time to get development, and I feel like they were kind of trying to jam some character development in him. I wish Cleopatra would have cracked a little bit more and been a little bit nicer. Like, I understand if it would have had to ease a couple of more episodes in. I think honestly they thought they were gonna make a season 2. To this day, you can also too tell one way I think they really had confidence they were gonna make a season 2 was because it said on the end of season 1, which this show is so earlier 2000s, it's not even funny. It's so cute and it's literally nostalgic to me. But the reason why I say that though is the end of the season, they say it's the first season, but it's the only season. They have a part 1 and part 2. And the fact that they did the whole part 1 and part 2 like that, I took a screenshot of it. They really thought it was going to continue. And it's kind of an early 2000s thing to do a part 1 and part 2, especially at the end of the series and the end of the episode, sometimes even the end of the series, but the end of the episodes are like for the season, that's what I mean. Just the whole thing. I liked how like they would separate it and they put the screen and they say Clone High. Basically, it's like, to me, I believe it was signifying the next act in the episode. I kind of like that. That's kind of like a little early 2000s thing they just don't do anymore. The narrator being in the background also just kind of like talking. They don't really do that as much anymore and stuff like that. It's early 2000s as can be. Like even some of the jokes are early 2000s. Some of the things are the past, and also too, it's 2000s to me. That's what I feel. And then I guess back to earlier, it's like they really thought they was gonna continue. Before I went on a whole 2000s tangent, I think they sincerely thought they was going to continue, and that's the reason why I think they did the whole like giving them a little extra more character development and that speed. They probably thought they were at least gonna get to season 2. So, if anything, they're going to at least get to season 2. And that's what you expect on a lot of things. Like, you putting in this work, everybody's putting their job in, they putting this as their career. You expect that. So, I completely respect that. You got to expect higher yourself because other people aren't going to in that scenario. Not always, but I'm just saying, if you don't expect it, why would somebody else feel motivated to expect it? So, of course, they're working and working and working. They may have thought it. Because the reason why, another reason personally why I think Clone High, they may have thought it was really going to continue, I think it's because they got all the way to prom. I think what they wanted to do was eventually get to the point where they graduate. And not necessarily after graduation, but I think they're eventually going to want to get to a point in the season where they probably would have did part 1 and 2 or something like that, and they would have got to the point where they were going to walk. Because they handed out the university and this, that, and the other. And yeah, of course, they're going to talk about the future because teenagers, they do that. Everybody does it. You should. It's good to think about your future. But I don't know. I just had this really feeling. I don't know. It's the way the pacing. I just felt like it was going to be, like they wanted to get to that point. They wanted to get to the point where they seen through the whole high school thing. And then it's sad that they didn't really quite get there because they already got the prom. Usually prom you think of senior year, so they never signified junior year. So I think if they would have got to season 2, they would have did the cap and gown, they would have did the big mission, they would have like, oh, who are these people spying us? I think they never even officially got to the point like where, oh, why are these people looking over us? Why are we clones? What is our purpose? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why can't we see our family? they never got to that far enough in the seasons because they only got to season 1. So it's sad to say, and I'm hoping that this reboot that they were talking about mid 2020, at least that they announced, actually is coming on, because I'm happy to see this. You know, and reboots to me are different than spin-offs. I don't know, y'all, like, spin-offs are like when you give a side character that just, to me, isn't really strong enough, in my personal view, and you give them a main character, you know, setting. But a reboot is like the cast. Yes, you may add some. Heck, you may even take away a little bit, you know, here and there, whatever scene, a place, whoever, for maybe somebody passed away. But a reboot to me is just way different than a spinoff. So I actually really like reboots, you know, so that's nice. I am excited for that. You know me, if y'all do know, my 2 types of cartoons are the, like, whole teen fling thing, like the whole teen scene episodes. I mean, the whole teen scene cartoons and the slice of life cartoons. So you know me, I'm ready to see it. I am ready to see it, you know. So if they do a reboot, I'm excited about it. What I would rate this show, it was only 13 episodes of 1 season. What I would rate this show, I would say out of the stars, I would say a good 3.6, I think about. You already know, not 1 and 5, not 2, how, you know, you can tell even by the timing of this video, it's not 2. I would say 3. It's not just 3, it's better than that. I'm telling you, there is something about Clone High. There was individual scenes, little jokes here. It was the little things that really keep you actually watching it. And if you look at, like, the little, what's it, like the basic, I don't know how to say it, but like when you look up a show, sometimes a series, you'll see their, like, little ratings on certain things. And their ratings on, what is it, IMDb or something like that, and Rotten Tomatoes is, like, I believe is really high. So actually, it's a pretty decent sign, honestly. Yeah, 8.1 out of 10, you know, about 80%, you know, on IMDb. And then I think Rotten Tomatoes was high too. So honestly, I liked it. I really did. I'd watch it again. Honestly, I may watch it again to show my best friend Tosho Cheyenne. The little side characters, like the I don't know that man. George Washington Carver was funny. The little peanut that was different. They made the peanut into a character itself. And then they had this guy too. I forgot his name. The one who does that one painting. This one. Yeah, this dude right here. Yeah, he had a little character, a little moment. It wasn't really my favorite, you know. I feel like if they would have gave him more time, I think I would have liked him more, honestly. Marilyn Manson's character was, Marilyn Manson? Huh, that's not who it is. No, I'm not saying that right. I don't think I'm saying that right. Yeah, it was actually pretty fun. I ain't gonna lie. I liked it. I really would. I like the principal a lot, too. The principal was funny. The last episode literally made me sad because I was like, that's the thing, you could tell, that's another reason why you could tell, like, I think they really thought the show was going to continue, because you can just tell it was fast. The last 5 minutes, and I know people like, oh, it's the last episode, you're excited about it, you're sad that it's leaving. It was genuinely fast. It was like, I was still even a little confused, like they went into the freezer, this, that, and the other, they're trying to stop things, and this, that, and the other, and it's just like, well, if the show would have continued, you know, it wouldn't have ended that bad. Like, they already had, like, the little side character that was against the principal, quote-unquote, in life. He already sacrificed himself. He's pretty much a sacrifice for the episode. I feel like if Clone High would have continued, they probably wouldn't have, like, you know, the people who overseen the principal would have probably found some way to keep going. And you just literally leave off at a cliffhanger, because, you know, earlier with the whole romance, Joan of Arc and Abraham Lincoln was starting to realize Joan of Arc's feelings and just started to click, but it's like she was already starting to move on. So it was like, man, just in time. The last scene is like everyone's shocked because she decides to be with JFK, and I'm just like, everyone's just like, what? Everyone's all together like, what? JFK? JFK, isn't he? He's not sincere. He's not, and then like, he's not a bad guy. He's still the crew member, but JFK, like, everyone was looking at him like, and so I don't know. It just made me kind of like, man, you could just tell. I don't know. The way it just froze is like, and then that was the end. It's like it froze in time, you know, and there it is. Like, it kind of, in theory, I will say this, it kind of, in theory, did a little bit of everything. It did the mini party, it did the big prom, it did like the death, it did the breakups, it did the relationship, it did the old failing classes, it did the trying to sneak in and do this, it did the get in trouble, it did the stand up for itself, it did all that little stuff, you know what I mean? It did the friends, did the not being friends, blah blah blah, so forth, so on, arguments, the whole, it low-key did a little bit of every main topic that you would think in a high school scenario in an animated television show in the early 2000s. It did a little bit about everything, but it honestly, being one season, literally could have kept going, but you know, there was some controversy supposedly. I just barely started looking into it. Some of the controversy was because of Gandhi's character, you know, from where he's from, people did not care for that. I just started looking into that. I'm not going to tell you. First of all, I'm not Southeast Asian myself. I don't know if that scenario. Second of all, I'm literally looking this up. I gotta look it up from a website because I did not watch this when this came out. I was 2 and 3 years old. I did not watch this when this actually came out. I'm rewatching reruns. So I didn't get to see maybe people complain about it on the news or MTV actually seeing the apology or, you know, the characters, you know, like I didn't get to see like maybe there was a refreshment in the character. I didn't get to like, there wasn't even another season to do that, but you know, I didn't get to see that real life sense of like the complaints because this was my rerun time. This was technically my time to in life, but this wasn't my time to watch this. And even my older brother was still a child, so he wasn't watching this either because it's like a teen show, a teen animated series. So honestly, the controversies I don't know of, but I can't use that as an excuse saying that I can't look it up. But I will say though, in that sense, if there's anything absolutely overtly bad and inappropriate in a scene and truly offends somebody, you flat out don't need to be doing it. Comedy or not meaning to or not meaning to. But every once in a while, you gotta honestly look into the person and look into every scenario and see if this is genuinely comedy or if this is actually something that's afflicting and bringing down people. There is genuine comedy, you know what I mean? There is comedy, you know, in a sense, not everything's gotta be all, oh my gosh, make you just like, like everybody's all hugging and stuff, and the comedy, that's not necessarily comedy in a sense. But is it afflicting people? We're gonna look at this. Did this really later on bring people down? Or did this bring people up? Like, did this make people laugh, have a good time, maybe be shocked? Things like that. But, you know, that's how I feel. So you have to really assess the situation. And if it's deemed as more controversial and you can prove that it's being controversial, then flat out, no, that's wrong. You know, do I think that should be off with their head? No, because if they give them a chance to change it, when they change it and it's successful, yes, move on. It's over. It's the past. But if they don't do it, then hey, you know, that was your warning last time when you warned them, and the next time you know, do the next step. So I am for, you know, in that sense, that whenever the controversy. So, you know, I do say, I apologize for that. As an African American female, I can't really tell you in that sense. But hey, if you honestly sit me down, if I had a friend who was a descendant, I guess you would say, of that nationality, that group of people, and they were like, hey, this is the reason why I was so offensive, and they can break it down to me in a way I explain, I would be honored to listen to that. But by what I watched, I didn't see anything over the top. If anything, to me, if his character was very offensive, I feel like, in a sense, like, a lot of the characters would have been, like, about offensive. You could claim a lot of them were offensive, in a sense. You could have claimed that some of the jokes JFK alone said was, like, flat out, like, cancelable, in a sense. My theory on the whole thing is, long story short, there is cancelable situation, and if anyone does warn you about something, you don't be selfish and not look into it. But realize too, as the people who are canceling, not only you've made more than likely similar, if not the same mistakes, people can change. It doesn't necessarily mean off with their heads the first time you see something or the second time. It means warn them, because it's the truth. You know, if it's wrong, it's wrong. See if they change, and this, that, and the other, and go from there. That's what it is. You know, if it's not life threatening, you got to see to it that they change. This is not, you know what I mean. So that's my view. But all in all, this series was pretty neat. It was pretty there. I'm for it. Clone High, the little simple, like, little, how it would just say Clone High, like, I like that. It was just so early 2000s. It wasn't even funny. It really wasn't. Like, it was a breath of fresh air. I felt like I was in my apartments again. Like, honestly, I felt like I was somebody, like, I don't know, I felt like I was just there. I literally was watching it, and I just felt like I was watching it on a widescreen TV in a bedroom eating snacks. Like, and that's what I enjoyed. So, and I'm prepared to make more memories like that with more series and be happy. And then one day be like, I felt like I was talking in a YouTube video to my friends and family and gaining subscribers. So, all I say is I really enjoyed it. I'm going to watch it again. I'm definitely going to watch the reboot, you know, when I can. I may not watch it episode for episode. Hello, it's just not those days right now. You know, it's not like how I used to do with some shows. I'll probably, you know, catch it on a binge, you know, watch over my best friend, you know, watch it, start off and stuff like that, honestly. I'm excited, y'all, for real. But thank y'all so much for watching Clone High with me, if you've watched it in real life. And thank you all so much for just honestly watching me, you know, and I really do appreciate it, and I'm glad to be on here. I'm glad to, you know, start it up and start getting it back right, because it wasn't fair to y'all who are actually subscribed to me to be suffering like that. And I guess a little last minute comments is the animation was really cute. I like that kind of it's like, excuse me about that. I'm sorry about my, you know, 2D, 3D, you know, it's technically 2D, but they have like 3D elements like to it, you know what I mean? Like the actual person, the background's 2D. I don't know how to describe it. I'm probably bad with that. The animation was cool. The colors, like, of the actual characters were pretty saturated. Backgrounds are very simple, especially in, you know, the voice acting I really liked. There's something about voice acting back then, especially, that makes me really like it. I don't know, it gives me like that sense of like it's realistic, and it makes me feel like I can jump into it. So yeah, the voice acting was cool. The animation was cool for the very simpler premise of the show. The writing was funny, you know. It's a simple, like, teenage flick, like high school, you know. I think it was pretty decent. So that's how that is. Thank y'all so much for watching. Again, please subscribe, like, comment, view, laugh and have a great time. And please subscribe to my Instagram too. I'm gonna start writing down in the description my Instagram and stuff like that. Thank you. And basically, see you next time. And later on too, I guess I'll say this real quick. Later on, if Clone High does end up doing the reboot that they say, eventually I'm gonna slip that video in And we'll slip that one in, honestly, and we'll go ahead and start talking about the reboot. It will probably do, like, I'll probably do the whole first season, just lump it together from the reboot, and then if it actually keeps going, then maybe I'll do like 2 episodes at a time, kind of just flip it in, holiday episodes, something like that, you know, call it a day. But we'll see, honestly. You know, be safe, be careful, be positive. Remember, keep your C's, cooking, courage, and cartoons. The order, we'll do. But right now it's cartoons. So, Jesus Christ is Lord. Take care, and God bless y'all all in Jesus Christ's name.